Today we are going scuba diving in Owl's Hole. This is about an hour outside of Freeport in the Bahamas. Owl's Hole is fresh water sitting on top of salt water, so you go through both environments while diving here. Immediately, we were greeted by a freshwater eel. Now, an interesting thing about these American eels is that they spend their entire lives in fresh water except when they are going to spawn. So they're kind of like the opposite of a salmon. Instead of migrating to freshwater to breed, these eels migrate to saltwater, like in the Bahamas, to breed. After they spawn, they die. So the order in which you dive Owl's Hole, there are 3 different caverns once you get down, and we were recommended to start in a clockwise rotation around the hole. Each cave opening has line ran to it, so you can help find the opening, and you follow that. You go down each cavern until you come to the sign telling you to stop for safety reasons, as we are not certified cave divers. Then you turn around and you come back out and swim again to the right, and you'll find the next cavern. The last one will be just behind the ladder that you take to descend into the hole. Maybe someday I'll go through the course and get my certification to be a cave diver, but I'm still a little new to it. And without the aid of a flashlight, there is literally no light down here. It can be rather disorienting. And yeah, it's definitely kind of an unsettling feeling to know that, one, you're underwater, where if something went wrong you wouldn't be able to breathe, but also that you have how many tons of pounds of earth above you. Just don't think about the risk of collapse while you're down there. I really enjoyed the challenge of diving in these caverns. You have to really worry about your fin movements so you don't stir up any of the silt, trying not to bump your tank on the ceiling or touch your fins on the ground. There may not be the coral and wildlife to look at, but it definitely challenges you as a diver to have control over your movements. A careless flip of your fin, stir up a cloud of silt, and you and your dive buddy are going to be waiting for quite some time before you can find your way out. Now here's where we start to experience a halo climb. It's the line in the water dividing a layer of fresh water from a layer of salt water. Salt water is more dense, has more sediment in it, has more salt in it, so it is going to lay on the bottom. So my camera is not losing focus. It's blurry because of that line between the two salinities of water. On the way back out of one of the caverns, turning off your light and trying to swim out, it's fun, but it can be a little scary. It is very dark. Can't even describe how dark. And of course, anywhere that there are humans, there's trash. So I snatched up this bottle, made sure there wasn't anything living in it, and decided to take it and dispose of it properly. You can see all the trees and debris that have been washed down here, whether through the opening in the hole or through some of the cave systems from other openings. But the area right under the hole has quite a bit of debris. Here we're going through another halo climb. It is really trippy to swim through. Your eyes can't focus and you keep wondering if there's something wrong with your mask. And here we're following one of those guidelines in and out of the different caverns. Even just your air bubbles, as you exhale, they'll hit the roof of the cave and it'll cause settlement to fall. Now this was one of my favorite halo climbs. I sat here for a lot longer than this, just raising above it and falling below it. It looks like you're above water and there's a pond underneath you, but then when you sink below it, you're in salt water now. It's an unusual feeling. I guess you'll just have to go try it. See what I mean? I did my best to capture it on film for you. And even as we were leaving the cavern, you can see it looks like there's like an underwater pond in front of us, and there's rippling water. And the conditions have to be right, like still unmoving water, so it's not mixing. If it was mixing, it wouldn't have that distinct line between the two. Before we were left, we got to say goodbye to our eel friend again. And the dive statistics from my computer for this one, our total dive time was 57 minutes, max depth of 65 feet, average of 45 feet, and a water temperature of 74.5 degrees Fahrenheit. We did this dive in July. All right, I had my housing on the camera still, so you actually can't hear what I'm talking about. Mostly talking about how ridiculous I look and how cold we were and happy that we had the wetsuits on. The air temperature was hot, but the water was pretty cold for being in it for an hour. And then your gear is wet and you have to try and climb back out up this slippery, rusted metal ladder. It's super safe. I guess it was easier because I had the booties on and so they had, rubber grip, but now I'm talking about Owl's Hole being named after barn owls that nest there, and the fact that there was a thunderstorm coming, so I'm glad that we finished our dive when we did. Here's just a view from the top. Ian gets to climb his way out and drain all the water out of his BCD. All in all, an awesome dive. We paid a guide to take us out there and had a great time. I hope you guys get to see it as well. Let me know what questions you have.